Barbara, you have probably seen if you drive past the Elting Library on Saturdays. Every Saturday, she is the founder and stands with Women in Black of New Paltz. They've been standing out there every Saturday in Peace Fiddles for 11 years. She's also a co-coordinator of Ulster County Move On Council and a longtime peace and justice activist, and my sister. Thank you very much. Introduce Barbara.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It is so wonderful to be here today and see women of all ages coming together to defend women's rights. And as Joanne said, it's wonderful to see men standing here in solidarity with us, too. And let me just start by saying, men are not the problem. A patriarchal system that oppresses women is the problem. Patriarchy cannot exist without militarism, which promotes a culture of fear and is based on power over others and believes that violence is the only way to solve conflict. Patriarchy and militarism are inextricably linked. But you know what else is? Women's equality and our ability to create a culture of peace. You need both. We have to have both. The first step is to recognize and educate ourselves and others about the true cost of war. Do you know that right now, war is being depicted on TV, on NBC, as a game show? This is what militarism does. Only 1% actually go out and fight, and for the rest of us, they glorify war, and they even turn it into entertainment. Military sanitizes language, so collateral damage is used for civilian deaths, and missiles are called peacemakers. We rarely see the ravages of war, but the fact is, war destroys people, the earth, and the very fabric of life. And no one suffers more in war than women and children. A peacekeeper at the UN, a general, recently said this: "It is now more dangerous to be a woman than a soldier in conflict." In World War I, 5% of the casualties were civilians. In World War II, that number was 55%, and today it is 90%. Women and children are killed and maimed and sickened and raped, uprooted, orphaned, and widowed by war. Of the millions displaced by war, 80% of them are women and children. Rape is used as a weapon of war. In Rwanda, 500,000 women were raped. In Bosnia-Herzegovina, 50,000 women from all the different ethnic groups were raped. And 500,000 were victims of sexual violence in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's also important to remember that wars don't end when the bombs stop falling. We all know about Agent Orange in Vietnam, that resulted in hundreds of thousands of babies born with horrific birth defects, and tens of thousands of our own troops were poisoned and sickened. And we're still seeing the effects of that war in second and third generations. Depleted uranium munitions used in Iraq and Afghanistan have left a radioactive legacy that is increasing cancer and child leukemia. And landmines in over 80 countries kill and maim women and children almost daily because they have the task of going out to gather food, water, and wood. So as if all this horrific violence was not enough, there is also the structural violence created by a permanent war economy. 60% of our discretionary budget goes to death and destruction. This strips money from health care, education, and vital social programs. And because women and children are overrepresented among the poor, again, they are hurt the most. Lastly, when violence is seen as an acceptable way to resolve conflict, It affects all aspects of society. It even extends to women serving in the military. In a VA study after Desert Storm, they found that 1 in 3 of them were raped. They're saying that women in war have 2 fronts, the battlefield and the barracks. We also see it in increased community violence, with 30,000 gun deaths every year, and domestic violence, which increases in a time of war. Battering is now the #1 cause of injury to women. So our path is clear. We have got to end war before war ends us. That's what JFK said. We must make war as unacceptable in the 21st century as slavery was in the 20th century. Yes. We need to build a culture of peace from the ground up and inside out. And yes, that means we have to be the peace we want to see in the world. We can begin by replacing dwelling on problems and blame with a focus on creative solutions. We can stop fueling polarization by experiencing more deep listening. We can transform despair with inspired visions and empowered action. Together, we can create a culture of peace based on respect for the dignity and inherent worth of every woman, man, and child, because peace is our only true security, and I believe it's our collective destiny. And so we will continue to be standing just down the street every week for peace for these 11 years. And you know what? We're just beginning. And I hope you will all join us. Thank you so much. I have another task. I'd like to, now you're all in for a great treat. We're going to hear again from the